Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, dwyervip.com. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, according to reports, Tyson Fury is going to take on Wladimir Klitschko someplace in the United Kingdom in the coming months in the rematch of their heavyweight title series. Right now, what I want people to do here is to look at two fights, right, and to listen to the older man in the corner of Wladimir Klitschko, right? The first fight is really one of the more important fights I've seen in several years at heavyweight. It was Tony Thompson's challenge of Wladimir Klitschko. Now, it's an important fight because Tony Thompson is a southpaw. He's tall, right? He comes into the fight with a leg problem, right? Thompson isn't able to move that well during the fight. But I'm just telling you that the way the fight matched up, and the tape is here on YouTube, right? Klitschko had a problem with Tony Thompson's southpaw stance. Klitschko, heavyweight champion at the time, prohibited favorite at the time. But Klitschko was unable to land his jab with any regularity. Thompson is timing him on counters. Now, I know the judges' scorecards convey a different story. I'm fully aware of that. We're not talking about the scoring of the fight. We're talking about the actual fight itself. They're two different things sometimes. And you know that the actual fight was different than the scorecards here just by listening to Emanuel Stewart in the corner of Wladimir Klitschko. In my opinion, it is clear from the comments that Emanuel Stewart understood that the fight laid in the balance, that Tony Thompson was succeeding at some things during that fight. Now, Thompson, in my opinion, was giving Wladimir Klitschko one of the toughest challenges of Klitschko's heavyweight reign, right? And it was deep, because this wasn't of the lucky punch variety, right? You know, getting lucky early and then parlaying that luck into a close fight. This was different. This was structural. It was clear that Wladimir Klitschko, against a guy who was really primarily a slugger, was having a problem with the boxing against Tony Thompson. Now, I've said this before online. Several of you disagree with me. Great. That's why it's a boxing roundtable here. That's why it's a discussion here. But I thought Tony Thompson caused Wladimir Klitschko's hands to be full. I believe the trainer, Emanuel Stewart, Lennox Lewis's former trainer, Thomas the Hitman Hearns' former trainer, right, was in the corner and saw it clearly. Saw that Klitschko was having problems. Now, power is the great equalizer in sports. Klitschko closest to show in that first fight. What I want you to do is to now look at the second fight. The second Tony Thompson, Wladimir Klitschko fight. Thompson wanted the fight. Thompson, before the fight, said, look, if it wasn't for my leg problem, I would have taken him out. Right? After fighting Klitschko for several rounds, Thompson still thought he had a chance to beat Klitschko. The second fight picks up where the first fight drops off, right? Tony Thompson comes out and wins the first round, right? It's clear that when Wladimir Klitschko is in his normal construct, Tony Thompson was having success. Tony Thompson had a comfort level. So then we get to the second round. And understanding that his construct wasn't working against Tony Thompson, Wladimir Klitschko, for one of the few times in his career, starts ad-libbing, leaves the script in dramatic fashion, right? He comes out and he starts, I'm not kidding, he starts waving his hands like this, right? This isn't the Wladimir Klitschko who comes out like this and is shooting. And no, he comes out, he's waving his hands around. He starts fainting. He wants an open shootout against Tony Thompson. Thompson is so thrown by Klitschko's change in strategy that he's overwhelmed, right? Whereas before, Tony has a smug look on his face and is banking rounds, right? Now, Tony is aware of Klitschko's power. It's a different dynamic, right? Tony understands that he can't predict what Klitschko's going to do, right? Tony's so afraid, Tony ends up going to the corner. Klitschko aggressively follows him over to the corner. Klitschko proceeds to dominate the fight. Tony is so bewildered that a guy who previously in the first fight is fighting Klitschko and is standing there taking it all, in the second fight, Tony's like this. He literally starts covering up like this. He doesn't know what Klitschko is going to do. If you're researching the rematch of Wladimir Klitschko against Tyson Fury, you need to start with the second round of the rematch against Tony Thompson, right? Klitschko understands he can beat most people just fighting his regular style, right? Against Tyson Fury, he'll lose badly if he fights his regular style. You want to know how lopsided the first fight was, right? Forget the scoring and all this other stuff. You want to know how lopsided the first fight was? At one point, and it's astonishing, it's breathtaking. At one point, Tyson Fury puts one hand behind his back. Then when Fury understands that Klitschko can't do anything against him, Fury puts the other hand behind his back. Right? That's how predictable Klitschko was. Fury knew his code. Fury understood the language Klitschko was speaking. Right? Fury knew that in certain places in the ring, Klitschko wasn't going to be able to do anything with him. Right? That fight really was a foregone conclusion before it happened, because you understood Fury knew Klitschko's code. So Klitschko now is going to have to come in with something new. And that's not who he is. He's going to have to come in like he did in the second round against Tony Thompson, like he tried to do in the 12th round against Tyson Fury, to try to confuse Fury. Right? The problem is the opponent. Right? Tyson Fury is not Tony Thompson. If you get off road with Tyson Fury can turn into a sharpshooter and can take you out. Right? The chances of a knockout in the second fight are much greater than the chances of a knockout in the first fight. Understand too, Wladimir Klitschko, whether he's in character or out of character, in my opinion, can't fight inside. Right? If he gets out of character like he did against Tony Thompson in the rematch, the taller fighter, Tyson Fury, could try to smother him. Right? What I want people to do is to go back to a great tape. It's Felix Trinidad getting smothered. That's what it was. By Bernard Hopkins. Right? Understand Tyson Fury, who is ambidextrous. Right? He can fight southpaw just like Tony Thompson. right? Tyson Fury can also fight inside. He's a big man who can fight small. If Tyson Fury sees Wladimir Klitschko go off-road, go out of character, throw caution to the wind, and actually start ad-libbing, Fury has the option, and he didn't use it in the first fight that much, he has the option of simply stepping deep in the pocket and smothering Wladimir Klitschko. Understand, because Fury is taller than Klitschko, Klitschko won't be able to tuck him under an underarm like he did Alexander Povetkin. Now, I know the first fight went the distance. Folks, this is the rematch. I'm expecting a stoppage, right? Because the line is relatively even money. It's close to even money today. March the 29th, 2016. I know the fight's sometime in the future. But because it's close to even money today, the bet I'm recommending is that you take Tyson Fury simply to win the fight. Hedged with Wladimir Klitschko by knockout. Right? Wladimir Klitschko in his construct could not win a decision against Tyson Fury. If he goes outside of character, his only chance of winning the fight is by knockout. Right? Understand too, I know we've seen years of Klitschko dominance, but there's an open question on Wladimir Klitschko's chin. Right? Look at the Corey Sanders fight. Look at the Sam Peter fight that history seems to have forgotten, where Klitschko gets dropped twice. Right? We'll overlook the Lehman Brewster fight and the Ross Purity fight because we'll claim that those fights were the result of stamina issues. But what I want people to realize is that if Klitschko goes out of character, right, if he leaves the construct that Emanuel Stewart gave him and fights a different style, then those stamina issues are gonna return. Right? Look closely at the end of the Lehman Brewster fight, the first one. Right? Wladimir Klitschko looks like he's having a panic attack. Right? Wladimir Klitschko doesn't know what to do. At one point, he falls face first on the canvas. Right? If he's forced to fight in the United Kingdom against a fighter who's really a jazz musician, right? When you look at Tyson Fury, understand, guys like Tyson Fury define adaptive reactive. Right? He's in the ring reading you. Right? If he needs to come inside to beat you, if he needs to come inside against a fighter like Derek Chisora, Tyson Fury has the skill set to do it. Right? If he needs to be outside against the Wladimir Klitschko, Tyson Fury has the skill set to do it. If he needs to lean on you, as he did against Steve Cunningham, Tyson Fury has the skill set to do it. Folks, this is the best heavyweight in quite some time. I personally consider Vitaly Klitschko to be the best heavyweight of the post-Lennox Lewis era. Right? I believe Tyson Fury's upside is such that you're talking about a guy who's at least on that level. I'll agree. He's a young guy. He has to do the work first. I'll agree. I'm talking more about potential than actual past accomplishment. I'll agree there are critics of his out there, right? I mentioned Abel Sanchez in a video yesterday. I know Abel Sanchez at one point said Wladimir Klitschko should beat Tyson Fury. I'm aware of the fact that David Haye remains a big Tyson Fury critic. Okay, fine. I get the fact that there are critics out there. I get the fact that Tyson Fury was knocked down in fights, right? Okay, fine. Just understand Fury is that rare heavyweight with a great left jab. He also has a right jab. He can fight you inside. He can fight you outside. He can shorten his punches. He can throw punches in bunches, right? He can fight a combination punch style, right? He's much more fluid, much more adaptable, much more malleable than most at heavyweight. I personally feel Wladimir Klitschko's out of his league in this fight. I'll agree. If Klitschko hits anyone flush, it's good night for them. He's certainly going to have to go for broke early in this fight. He can't allow Tyson Fury to build momentum in this fight. I'm expecting Fury to successfully defend his title. I don't think the public understands how good this guy is, right? I'm expecting Wladimir Klitschko to come out and to try to ad-lib. I think against a sharpshooter. That makes the chances of a stoppage that much greater, right? The bet I'm recommending here is Tyson Fury to win the fight, hedged with Wladimir Klitschko by KO. Klitschko, a man with a great left hook, a man with a great straight right hand, always has a puncher's chance against whoever he fights. But please understand, Tyson Fury is one cut above everyone else in the heavyweight division, right? He reminds me of when Lennox Lewis ruled the roost. You understood. Guys like Michael Grant, considered dangerous at the time. David Tua, considered dangerous at the time, looked below average when they were in the ring against Lennox Lewis, right? You understood that Evander Holyfield was lucky, quite frankly, to get a draw against Lennox Lewis, at least on the judges' scorecards, not on mine, right? I think Tyson Fury is the kind of guy, quite frankly, who could run through the heavyweight division the way Sonny Liston did before Liston got the title, right? Keep an eye on this fight. I know there's folklore out there that Tyson Fury got lucky the first time. Folks, when an opponent is so confident that he can put both hands behind his back against a heavyweight champion who's a multi-year champion with a very high knockout ratio, that tells you the talent gap between the two guys. I certainly consider Wladimir Klitschko to be a boxing Hall of Famer. But here, he's in against a guy who might be great. I like Tyson Fury in this one. I'll hedge the play with Klitschko by KO. Keep in mind, because the public's unconvinced, because even after Fury beats the champ in Germany the first time, the betting line is relatively even. You're getting decent odds on Tyson Fury simply to win the fight. The hedge play is just to ensure you, in case Tyson Fury gets a little reckless, as he did against Steve Cunningham, right? Or Klitschko gets in a lucky punch. Understand, the phrase lucky punch has lasted for generations in boxing because it happens from time to time. But on a skill level, just judging the skills of the fighters, I don't believe it's close. I think Fury is a special heavyweight. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. Leave your comments for me here online. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. Thanks for stopping by.